Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch. With me is my little co host, Cowboy. And we have had so far a really fantastic season. This is our 10th anniversary season. This is episode 5, but so far we had the one and only Fontaine, we had Thunder Puss, we had Sherry Sylvain, we had the legend herself, Carol Pope, and now we have a really awesome, wonderful guest that I'm going to be introducing to you shortly. I'm this year for the 10th anniversary, we decided to go through the icons, the trailblazers, the originals, the people that kind of made community history in order for us to kind of get a sense of history and our story. I'm inspired by our community, our history, our stories, our people. If you are a community, I hope you're learning along the way a lot of that. If you are an ally or a friend of our community, I hope you get out of this show a good look at all the talent, heart, and real people who make the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. If you maybe don't know many queer people, I hope that this show helps you understand more. Because by understanding one another, we open many doors for more love, friendships, and a better world. If my conversation with my guest today will make us sound like we're familiar with each other, it's because we are. I have worked with her on so many events and community initiatives over so many years that I lost track. She's a stable presence in our community. She has worn many, many hats, and we're going to talk about all of that. She's kind, she's generous, she's community hearted, she's a little nuts. No, I'm kidding. She's our community's hostess with the mostest. She's Deb Pearce. Welcome.
Hey,
I
a little
she
nuts. I'll take it.
got dressed nicely for you.
You
I
look
even,
good.
I even put on some cologne. Okay. She hates
Oh, you.
it.
Thanks
So
for having me.
thank you for Deb. Deb is this is her second time on the couch. I've got only one more guest who's been on more, and that would be Simone Denny. But yeah, now you're like of the league of people who's been on the show more than once.
Excellent. Is it like Saturday Night Live? If I get on 5 times, I get a
Yeah,
jacket.
basically, we're gonna start a program. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so I love you. You sent when I asked you to give me a bio, whatever. You just send me this chronological order of your whole history, and we're just gonna take a look at that. I think it'll be fun to go down the journey of memories with you.
It was actually very, Antoine, it was very cool for me to do. It was kind of cathartic to be like, what did I do? What did I? Oh, I did that. Oh, that's cool.
Thank you.
Anyway, so
Also, and I maybe I actually even felt that energy because I thought somebody writing it's I think we all should do. I think we all should once in a while look at our life because you'll realize that you've done more than you think you've done,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
So you were raised in Peterborough,
Yes, I was.
a little city that I just visited last summer when I did a charity concert to raise funds for homeless queer youth. Lovely city. I didn't get a chance to really stay a lot, but we did a little bit of driving around the streets. Looked quiet. Uh,
You know what? I didn't know. Of course, you don't know, and you can speak to this certainly more so than me. You don't know where you're growing up until you leave it, I feel. And so leaving Peterborough to go to Toronto and then hearing all my new friends from Queen Street West that, of course, I lived on before it was super, super cool and expensive, really expensive. Um, I didn't realize that I was growing up in like heaven on earth, like the Kawarthas. It was
yeah,
nothing for me to go to Stony Lake for the day to see a friend. Like I grew up water skiing, cottaging because it was 10, 15, 20 minutes away. So yeah,
jealous.
Peterborough. I'm happy I grew up there and I'm happy I left.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good perspective.
Yeah.
And you just came to Toronto and did all the usual things of working a million little jobs, I hear. Uh,
Yes, yeah, so many jobs, Antoine, and every single job I got canned for being gay. It
I
started actually in Peterborough. There was a place that I worked at. I don't want to say the name because a friend of mine from high school bought it and owns it now, and we go there. My mom and Jack, my son, and I go there every time I'm
yeah,
there.
that's not
But I started losing all my jobs at a dry cleaner, at a pancake house, for the rumor of being a lesbian. And I wasn't even a practicing lesbian. Like I hadn't even had a, I just,
I wasn't
I
as
just,
busy as I am today.
I'm not, no, I got, listen, there's a few rings around that tree now, but yeah, so I started working. So some of the jobs I started working at the Wheelchair Basketball Association, which was a boiler room
Okay.
telemarketing thing where people were smoking. It's now a Good Life Fitness in the Manulife Center, which is hilarious to me. So, but then I was like, okay, if I'm going to keep losing these jobs and they're not firing me because I'm queer, I'm just hearing that afterwards from people that I become friends with, and they're like, it's because you were.
Oh,
So then I was like, well, I wonder where could I work where it would be sort of a given or a natural fit to actually be queer. And so I worked at Mark's Work Warehouse,
okay.
which seemed like a very butch fit.
Yeah.
And the manager thought I was coming on to her, which I was not. Then I was like, okay, Toronto Parks and Rec.
Yes.
I'll run a camp.
Okay.
So they started stealing my stuff. Like they stole my sunglasses one day. They were trying to maybe get me to quit, and I just would not quit.
Wow.
I was fired
Even
from
at
that as
Toronto
well.
Sport and Recreation?
Yeah, Toronto Parks and Rec. Yeah,
Really, you had troubles there? Wow. I guess this was the time. We're talking here early 90s? I don't age.
late 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the times were well, yeah, thank you for sharing. The times were not well what we are today at all.
Mhm. No.
I remember when I first started, I always say the story was they found me a couple of days into starting a job at Queer Media, having people swearing at me on the phone when I called them to sell advertising. It was like and really awful words that I will not mention on this show. And then
Do
like
not.
yeah, hell when hell freezes over, we'll advertise to you people kind of thing. And the second day on the job, they found me like sobbing my eyes out behind my
Of
printer.
course.
Well, it
Well,
was
back in the day, I will say that one of the jobs that I also gravitated towards thinking, well, maybe if they don't see me,
okay.
I can do better. So I started to do online sales for the Pink Pages.
Yeah,
And
you
that
right
that
there.
was not a terrible experience for
Yeah.
me,
Well,
actually.
well,
But yeah, no, it was a very different time, and I don't say that because I'm giving permission to bad behavior. Um, but there weren't as many gay clubs. There were gay nights, right? So we did Whiskey Saigon on Richmond Street on like
yeah.
Tuesdays and
I
Thursdays,
actually remember Whiskey Saigon. Yeah, cool.
right?
Yeah.
And my then girlfriend Laura and I, she was in the washroom, and I was holding the door closed because the lock was broken, and the bouncer kept like punching the door to get me in, and we were taken by the scruff of the neck and thrown down the staircase
Oh wow.
for being gay at a gay night.
Oh wow.
And
Well,
then you know what we
I
did?
really don't want to end on this point, but we gotta take a little break and
Yeah.
then come back and we gotta get a little bit onto more the comedy parts of Deb Pearce and all that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back with the one and only, the lovely Deb Pearce. Then you started taking lessons at Second City, received as a gift. Who
Yep.
gifted you that?
My best friend Whitney, her
Okay.
mom, my then girlfriend Stacy, and her mom Judy all pitched in.
Oh my
And
God.
it was interesting because they gave me these pieces of paper and said, okay, so you just walked into a coffee shop and you pulled the fire alarm. What do you do now? And they actually had me acting out these improv things. And I was like, what am I doing this for? And then the last one was a certificate for improv classes.
Why?
So
What's in you at the time that got them to think this is what would be something would interest you?
that might be a question for them. But for me, I
You feel
was
you got a comedian traits kind of thing?
Well, I was public speaking since I was 11.
Okay.
So I did sort of command a little bit of presence when I entered a
Okay.
room.
Yeah, see
And
that.
so I think some of my performances started to come together. I was thinking about dabbling in stage work. So I think it was a natural fit. And it was actually a great experience.
Yeah, cool. And
Yeah.
that, what did that lead to?
I graduated from the program. I presented in front of people. I got super comfortable. The whole thing with improv is yes, and you never block a
Yeah.
thought. So I just got really fluid. I couldn't have known then what it would lead to, but certainly what we'll talk about coming up is sort of emceeing and being really comfortable, and then in turn working in media to do interviews like this.
Cool. Um, you said something actually about improv, and we're not going to discuss improv, but I guess maybe that's why companies use it to teach people, because you're not supposed to stop you're supposed to escalate the conversation rather than being the block, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's exactly
Cool.
it.
Nice. And then you did some drag kinging, kinging.
Yeah. Is it a verb? Kinging? Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I was at a house party,
Okay.
and Joy and Rose were a couple at the time, and it was just off the Danforth.
Okay.
And they sort of in the middle. I guess it must have been premeditated. I didn't know what was coming my way, but they said, "What do you think about being involved?" To a bunch of us,
Okay.
in starting a drag king
Oh,
troupe. There's
okay.
drag queens all over Church Street, but what about a drag king?
Good for
And
them.
so they sort of set us off into our own with a drink in hand, I'm sure.
Mm.
And they asked us to think about a male identified character that we had a personal affinity with,
Okay.
and to come back and sort of form that character and talk about maybe, presenting it.
Okay.
So I thought of a few men, which I did embrace eventually, but the only person that kept coming to me as a cheeky comic was a character, a twist on Anne Murray, which she became a drag king because they just called her Man Murray, just by name. And then folks were like, "So are you a woman impersonating a man impersonating a woman?" And I'm like, if that makes me seem smarter, that's what I.
I always wondered, but I mean, I kind of got, yeah, what your sense of humor was behind it, probably.
Yeah, and I do love her. Like, I legit
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
So that's how it all started, the Greater Toronto Drag King Society. And we performed at El Convento Rico the night after Sarah McLachlan was down at the amphitheater. We did a photo shoot in the Toronto Maple Leaf
I gotta get
med
to that. Hold on,
locker room.
actually. I want to first ask you about the different characters. So when you are Memory, how do you see Memory? What kind of character is it?
As a cheeky butch phys ed teacher who is very, but still very, very wholesome
Okay.
at heart, so that if and when she does something a little bit cheeky or dirty, it's so out of character that it makes it
Oh.
really funny,
Yeah, yeah.
because you wouldn't expect it from her, right? So like doing a little like
Naughty.
whatever. Yeah,
Cool. I like
yeah,
that. And then you've
yeah,
got Dirk Diggler. I've seen you do a few times. So
yeah,
what's the difference now? That sounds like a
yeah.
sleep kind of guy.
Yeah, well, I think it's like a drag queen doing Dolly Parton, right? I was Dirk Diggler. So I was like, what exemplifies, manhood size? Yeah.
And Neil Diamond and Jack Hammer these are different characters.
Neil, Kneel Diamond. Yeah.
Okay.
Jack Hammer of the Village. We were called the Village Peephole. Yeah. So just the difference between drag kinging back in the day was you would take on a persona of somebody famous, like a Freddie Mercury or Placido Domingo
I
or the
like the
Bee
old
Gees.
drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love new drag. It's flashy. It's a lot of the makeup and the clothes, whatever. But old drag was very creative.
You know, and when I think back to it, I think it was more of an homage to the actual impersonation
Yeah.
of that person, as opposed to a set drag performer doing different songs. Yeah,
All
interesting.
right. And sorry to interrupt that, but now we're gonna roll back to the photo shoot at Maple Leaf. What was that for? Was that for with with Drag King Society?
Yeah, the Greater Toronto Drag King
Yeah.
Society. Yes. Yep.
What was the occasion? Why did you guys?
I think people were catching wind of us, sort of looking for the newer sort of thing in Toronto for the art scene. We had a lot of high profile performers guest
Yeah, yeah,
starring on our
happening at the time.
stages.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, Carol Pope did 9 Inch Nails. Lorraine Segato was part of our Vanilli Vanelli Manilli, which is a Liza Minnelli, Milli Vanilli, Gino Vanelli combo.
That's funny.
Shelley Mars from New York would come up. So
Okay.
yeah, I think people were catching wind that it was a really a sort of a shift on a fun night out.
Speaking of locker rooms, Deb Pearce and I did a photo shoot at a bathhouse locker room. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, cool. So yeah, we did one for Pink Play Mags. It was the steamiest photo shoot I've ever done.
You make it sound like it was a locker room at a YMCA. It was not.
It's not, it's a bathhouse.
The bathhouse. Yeah.
It's a bathhouse. We rented the whole place and we had a really fantastic represent. We had drag queens. We got people in all outfits and colors. The baseball player, and Deb was pushing
Yeah.
two drag queens into kissing each other.
Oh, it was your mind in a photo shoot, Antoine.
Um, so then you started rolling with brides. I
Yeah.
very, I very much like still like visually remember you on stage at World Pride. I remember you turning around to the to the audience with the very famous shot that became very famous. So tell me, how did you get into that? Just by naturally?
Yeah, by then it was 2014, so I'd already been doing it for a few decades actually. So starting to introduce drag and then working into actually billing myself as the MC or host of that particular stage.
Okay.
And then I was approached for World Pride. Who's going to say no to that opportunity? So that was huge. That was my biggest, that was one of my biggest Canadian gigs to date for sure. Serena Ryder, Melissa Etheridge, the name escapes me for the gentleman that created the rainbow flag as we know it.
Oh yeah. I met him.
Me
God.
too.
Okay. Yes. I let's not do this because we both forgot.
Yeah, but we love you.
Yeah, Carol Pope. Okay, you're making me want to get my phone out. Stop.
I know. So that was great. It was,
Scott, not Scott. Anyways. All right. So yes, so that was a fantastic stage. That year was awesome.
well, I'll tell you, that was particularly interesting because it was at Nathan Phillips Square, which is a tourist sort of bypass through when you're doing the Yonge Street and Queen Street sort of thoroughfare there. For folks that know Toronto, it's near the Eaton Center. And what I like to do in any audience is sort of take a poll of who's been here or who's, queer, whatever. So we had just as many potentially straight identified folks as we did queer folks. So I thought it was really groundbreaking for all of us to celebrate that love and energy together, whether you happen by or you're in your 50s, 60s, and the culmination of the evening was for you to see a free Melissa Etheridge concert. So I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was great.
It was, yeah. I found his name, Gilbert. Gilbert
That's
Baker.
right.
I just cannot do
Thank you.
this to our audience on the show, and out of respect for Gilbert, obviously.
They've already Googled and come back, but thank you. I'm glad you got that.
They stopped the show to go Google us.
Yeah.
So and you hosted prides all over. I know you hosted Pride Durham, which where I'm located in.
That's
So
right.
a number of
Yeah,
times.
I was doing a lot of things with P-Flag Canada, based out of Durham. You and I started our working relationship. I've hosted prides in Ottawa, Washington, smaller places. Peterborough, my hometown, which was very cool. I got to drive my company vehicle
That's
at the
actually cool
time.
to get back to your hometown to actually host a pride. That's cool.
My mom stood on George Street with her rainbow. She was being so cute with her rainbow umbrella.
Oh, sweet. Your
Yeah,
mom's adorable.
She is.
She's attended a number of the Inspire Awards that we're all involved in, and Deb Pearce has hosted the Inspire Awards, which you all must have heard of on my show and in the community. 10 years, we said 9 or 10 years
I
of.
think if you've been doing it for 12,
Yeah.
I think I've probably, there was a few years we figured out that I wasn't
Yeah. So
wasn't
I'd
the
say
host
10
for it.
because you may have co-hosted one. Yeah. So again, the hostess with the mostess. And then in midst of all of that, radio came calling. Uh,
Yep.
so what's our
Yeah.
history with radio?
Well, all throughout this exciting life of being a performer and a lesbian and doing drag at, all the bars on Church Street and Queen Street, I did hold down my dad, if he instilled nothing else in me, besides public
The
speaking,
job. That's
to have a job, pay those bills. And
dad's.
yeah, and so I worked in property management for as long as I lived in Toronto, actually.
Okay.
And so there was a time where I was managing a staff of 6 buildings between Yonge and Mount Pleasant on Davisville, all of the apartments there.
Oh my God, I
And
lived in that area.
yeah, right. So I would sing to every word, to every song on this new radio station.
Okay.
And one of my colleagues came in, Ashley, and said, "I hear you singing every word to every song." I'm like, "I'm sorry, is that not professional?" I'm not very good at being a manager because really I just want to go out and drink with them all. But she said, "No, it's actually great. I've got a friend coming in. He's from Toronto. He's coming in. He's starting the morning show here. Why don't
Oh,
we all go out for dinner?"
well,
And so we did. And I was driving there and I was behind a cab and a person's coat, it was December, a person's coat was hanging outside the door. I put my car in park. I went to the cab and I said, "Your coat's getting soaked outside." He's like, "Oh, thank you." Closes the door. I go in to have dinner. The person that I said, "Your coat is getting ruined,"
was the one.
was Rob Christie, who is a Toronto radio legend to
Wow.
this day.
Yeah.
And so, how could I have known that that was going to happen? But I auditioned that week as the average Jill on Jack.
Okay.
And January 5th, I started.
Cool. And how long were you there?
You don't leave radio. Radio generally leaves you. So I was there for a few years.
Okay.
And
Then Proud FM kept calling?
yeah. And then I left radio hoping to maybe have another opportunity. And then Bonte Minima reached out to me and said, "We're starting a new radio station. And we would like you to start as the midday host." And I'm like, "I've done gay, I've done radio. Why don't I'm going to do gadio."
Yeah.
So it was great. I started at middays, worked my way up as the host for mornings, and for the most part, it was a pretty great experience.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Um, and then you've done some TV also
yeah.
on Roger
So
on on this station. Cool.
yes, yeah.
And
I was approached by Liz Stembridge, who became a friend of mine. And the program director wanted to create some, queer-friendly, queer highlighting programming. And Liz pitched my name, and I went in and met with them. And I had learned from the past that you're replaceable when you're just morning show, whatever. So I cleverly named it Focus with Deb Pearce, so that if something happened in media and you lose your job, you can't take that job, Antoine, because you're not Deb Pearce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good thinking. I actually was on your show. I was so intimidated. I was.
Were you really?
Yeah, you were back then. You were bigger than life, kind of to me, persona. So like, oh my God, I'm gonna be on their peers. I don't know what's gonna. Yeah. So yes, I was on the show talking about the pink pages, I believe, and
Yep.
our business or whatever. So, yeah, and then you also worked at LTV for a bit, doing some.
Yeah, I was approached by few folks in television that they'd already had a female identified host doing a travel show called Bump. And she was an actor. I think there was something else going on, or maybe she just wasn't renewed per se, changing things up a little bit. So yeah, I did a travel show, and my male counterpart did like Machu Picchu, Australia, beautiful locations. I did.
The show. It was one of the best shows in the history. Yeah.
I did February. In February, I did Ottawa. So that was glamorous.
Mhm.
Saugatuck, Douglas, Michigan. Did I mention that he did like Machu Picchu and anyway? It was great. It was a great experience, great crew, and yeah, it was wonderful. I'd do it all again.
And recently you got involved in Eagle,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
what are you doing there again?
I was a communications officer, and so I would also sort of mediate some of their webinars. There's such
You did
incredible
some
folks
show or
there.
some series of videos with the aging populations. Am I correct in my remembering? Okay, cool.
I forgot about that. Put that in my bio, would you?
Add that to the mind.
Yes, I actually did in the pandemic.
Yeah, what was it called? It had a name.
Now I feel like I'm not even going to help
I have to
you.
go look.
We called it Rainbow Table
Thanks. Yes.
because disproportionately to us LGBTQI identified seniors were very much feeling quite alone during the pandemic.
Mm.
So we thought we would come into their home digitally through this platform once a week.
Bring them to the table. Give them a seat at the
That,
table. I love
and
it.
that's how I would end every show. I would say, there's always room for you.
Oh my
Rainbow
God,
Table.
brilliant. I love it. I love the message on your shirt. Thank you for bringing that on the show. Thanks for your care and all that, obviously.
I was hoping it didn't look like protest. Protest, no, protect.
It does. Uh, Community then and now. You and I are hugely passionate in that topic. What do you think? What do you think have we done better? How have we improved? How has the world improved? Any thoughts?
Since sort of having my
More
coming
time
out
when we started
era.
to now, kind of the old days to now. Are we better
Well,
off?
it's interesting because there was something beautiful about the naivete of being a young queer person in a
I wish
small
that
town.
yeah, very queer feeling of the community. It's almost like we were just discovering things at like a kids in candy store. Kind of was crazy.
That's perfectly said. That's exactly what it is. Yes, rent got paid. Maybe the cable didn't, and you couldn't watch 90210 that Wednesday with your friends. You know what I mean? Like it was very much a coming of age for straight identified folks with puberty and awareness is one thing. Coming of age and puberty with the bonus of that
Yeah.
queerness, and I use that to envelop all of the acronym, is another sort of, for me, an added bonus, but for others, maybe a bit of a struggle. So I never struggled with it. Of course, I've received all the homophobia. But there was something beautiful
Even in
about
spite of yeah, even in spite of that, when we were kind of the outcast, whatever, there was more community, there's more connection. We were starting to get some of our rights. We were getting bars and clubs hopping all over, and we got a village at that time. So yeah, it was a beautiful times. It was crazy times, but beautiful times.
it was beautiful. I had a revolving door in my bachelor apartment, is what I'm saying. But yeah, no, it was beautiful, and it was part of it was hard, but part of because I lived in Vaseline Tower for 26 years after I moved from Queen Street, so I was very much absorbed and welcomed and loved by a community that I like. 2 blocks north, east, south, and west of Church and Wellesley was really my home. So I always felt very safe and loved and not othered at all.
The steps. I just have to explain to the audience because probably some of you don't know. The Vaseline Tower is a very famous building right in the heart of the village, and you draw your own conclusion why it was called the Vaseline Tower.
I call it the lube tube because
Basically.
it's more water soluble.
We are gonna take a little break, and
On that note,
we're gonna come back with the Deb Pearce. Don't go anywhere. And we are back, everyone, for the third and last segment with Deb. Um, let's talk about motherhood.
Let's talk about it.
The big
You,
thing. So what's your home life now? How old is Jack? She became a mother while we've known each other and all that. So yeah, tell me.
yeah, 2011. 2011 was the best of times and worst of times. Yes, I became a mother that year. My dad passed. I got in this order. I got pregnant. My dad passed. I got married. I had a baby, all in 2011.
God.
And so, given that my dad passed 2 months into my pregnancy, and his name was John Wilson, we decided to name our son Jack Wilson after him. And so this little human has proven to be absolutely the
Life.
um, life-changing, like already, and you can identify with this, Antoine. I had a very happy, charmed, wonderful life. And then you add this extra bonus into it, and it can be
I love you talking about this.
it's a game changer. I'm very fortunate. I understand that some folks want to expand their families and can't, and I don't take any of it for granted. And it wasn't easy to get pregnant. I was, 41, 42, so
Oh,
there were some challenges there, but that's all in the past. And yeah, Jack is
you guys do a lot of things together. He's a very athletic kid, huh?
he's incredibly, he's showing a bit of artistic prowess as well, but he's a physical kid, and being an only child, I think we both decided early on that he would be involved in team sports to feel that camaraderie and learn to share and work as a team, because he doesn't have a sibling like I did and you do to bounce that stuff, those negotiating skills off of, right?
You
So,
care. I see your posts. You're an awesome mom.
oh, thanks.
You're an awesome parent.
It's
Um,
easy because I'm actually a child. So,
yeah, yeah. Actually, and you get that sense that you are kind of. You're funny you say that. I get the sense that you're almost like you're reliving your childhood with your kid.
I can't even deny that. When my kid said that he loved roller coasters, I was like, and now we're getting a season's pass to Canada's Wonderland.
Nice, very nice. And you
Yeah.
guys got a cat recently?
Yes, June of 2022. Now he's nowhere to be seen, and his name is you, David. Oh my gosh, he's been walking through here this whole time. But yes,
You see him, have him.
he's a Balinese Sphinx, elf-eared munchkin, polydactyl.
So cute. Well,
Yes.
thank you, thank you. We're gonna play the little game that we play. I don't know if I was actually doing this when I had you on the show, but we usually ask just quick questions or whatever comes to mind. So,
Ready?
your favorite color?
Purple?
Sure. Actually, that's nice. Still color of the awards. I like that.
What's your favorite color?
Um, red recently, but just because I heard a lot about like the red therapy and the benefits of the red light thing. So I've been putting a lot of red bulbs in my place. Uh,
Roxanne.
I didn't used to like red. Actually, you know what? Growing up, I drove my mother crazy. I wanted to paint my whole room black and have black sheets. Like, no fucking way. Excuse the language, sorry. uh, Deep, yes. But yeah, I was into black and gray. And then I started loving more colors as I grew older. Blue would be my favorite, probably another favorite. So yeah. Favorite flower.
Gerbera daisy.
What would you buy me if you love me? uh
Gerbera daisy, and then I'd split them.
what's your favorite season of the year? What gets you happy?
All 4 seasons here in Canada for many different reasons.
Nice.
For the love of it.
That's like the only one that ever in 10 years answered that gave me that answer on the show. People always have a specific one. I like your answer. Uh, what's your idea of a perfect vacation and your favorite place you've ever you travel? And I know you travel, and I know you like going to the gay spots.
I do. I want to feel at home. I don't want to. Yeah, it's like
Favorite?
being in your own living room when you're with other queer folks.
Provincetown.
Provincetown is absolutely my home away from home and has been since the 90s.
Okay.
And then I was fortunate enough to get my own place down there seasonally. So yeah, But I would say that my favorite vacation spot before it erodes away, thanks to mankind, would be scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, was a beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, are you a TV watcher? Okay, what have you watched on TV, a show or a movie that you would recommend?
I just watched Good Grief, Dan Levy's
Okay,
show, and it was beautiful.
okay, there's a
Really
recommendation.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your favorite cuisine?
Something somebody else makes me.
Okay, then that's really good. Falls into what's the best dish you make that no one should miss trying? I guess nothing.
I do a good eggplant parm, but I also enjoy it's kind of this I'm a vegetarian, so um I make a nice cold Vietnamese spring roll.
That's sweet. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, I like
Oh,
cooking.
you're a vegetarian. Good, cool.
I'm a
Uh,
pescatarian and a vegetarian.
what's one food you've tried that you would never try again? Ew.
Um, Kimchi.
Really? Oh, I love kimchi.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
You should I try it again?
Um, I don't know, but I know it's beneficial for the gut. So I cannot sometimes make myself eat it, but it's acquired and it depends on which ones I'm finding. Like I go to the Asian supermarket and it depends on which one you end up buying. So I try different brands until I found one that I think is nicer. So yeah, it depends, I guess.
Maybe I had a bad first start. I like kimchi from RuPaul's Drag Race.
I don't. I actually didn't even know that character until one time I wrote "I love kimchi" on Facebook, and everybody started commenting with funny things about the drag race. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a good queen for sure.
Cool. All right. What's the ideal way you'd like to spend a wide open weekend? You have nothing else to do. What would you do?
Probably plan ahead because I wouldn't want to change my mind about what I was doing and not be able to like make my healthy banana peanut butter oat chocolate cookies.
Okay.
Recently I did have a weekend to myself and I painted some furniture with milk paint.
Oh, sweet. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get handy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Uh, if you would have dinner with, I guess I think this is a cliche question. If you could have dinner with anybody in the world from across history, who would that be and why?
Living or past?
Yeah, for me it would be Cher, but
Of course it would. I mean, yeah. Um, I think probably Carol Burnett.
and why? I love the choice. Hugely love the choice.
Thank you. Huge pioneer, super subversive in advancing female comics on TV, taking all the risks, paying an homage to her family, which to me is incredibly important, and just the hilarity of it. I would just love to sit down
Yeah,
and talk
when
to
you
her.
said it, and I then asked why, I almost answered myself. Why would anybody not want to have dinner with?
Right, right. What is yours? Share?
Yeah, yeah. Similar reasons. I think her longevity, her being a badass woman who did not didn't up with the BS of the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I hear she's hugely funny, and I love that she actually is so good at making fun of herself. She knows that she's bigger than life character, so she makes fun of that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I've been to all her concerts, and I love it when she says, I'm shared." She knows.
Does she? Okay, yeah, I've not been. I've actually not been.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be? No, no, I don't. Okay, naughty.
Uh, what's the audience age group here?
Don't do this to me.
I think I'd like to be able to breathe underwater because I really love oceans. I
Is that
really
your
love
thing?
being
Yeah, okay. And then you can swim really with with all the fishes and the sharks and all that. Yeah. Cool. Um, alive or past and money no issue. Which musician would you love to see perform live? Actually, you know what? I was going to ask you the question and I forgot to put it in the thing. You met a lot of famous people.
Yes.
Who was your favorites? What one stands out for being really an awesome person?
Yeah. When I worked in radio and television, I did have the opportunity. And then one of the things I didn't talk about, which I'll bring in, it ties in,
Mhm.
is when I was on Proud FM, Tourism Toronto coupled with Tourism Chicago. And I met my doppelganger out of Chicago. Her name's Amy Matheny. And
Okay.
she was running the Windy City Queercast, which
Oh,
was podcasts.
okay.
And so she would fly me down to Chicago and we would do Gay Idol instead of American Idol, and Gay's Got Talent instead of America's Got Talent. And they had the foresight to hire Lady Gaga to perform.
I
And
thought you met Gaga,
so
didn't you? Yeah.
did I ever. Her and her dancers and Space Cowboy, we all partied in the back restaurant of the bar that she performed at. Her disco stick was like a piece of plastic with dollar store lights at the end. It was phenomenal. So that would be the highest profile.
Okay, fair enough. I saw Gaga in concert here in Toronto, and I remember saying to my friend Mark Lalonde, you know Mark,
Yep.
and I said, "Isn't it a beautiful feeling when you can command that kind of attention from your audience, and you can just feel all that love coming at you?" Yeah,
Consummate performer.
she really has her fans really, really are love her. So yeah.
Yep.
Um. Oh, that didn't answer our question about which musician would you like to see in concert if money was no object.
I think I always like to see Pink because of what she does. But if I were to kind of throw back,
Yeah.
it would be, I'm really into 70s yacht rock right now. So like Bread
Oh.
or even Janis Joplin. I think I probably don't do nearly enough drugs at all to appreciate Janis Joplin, but to appreciate her musically,
That's
I
beautiful.
think that would be cool.
Nice. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Don't take it personally.
Oh, that's a good one. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
You're funny.
Okay, I love it. That's simple and humble. I like that. What's the one thing you wish most people knew about you? That
That
she's
I'm
awesome.
that I'm what?
That she's awesome.
Thank you. That I'm well intentioned.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I think you are. Yeah, I've never seen anything differently from you in the community or personally. Um, what's the sorry, a job you would suck at? I live up.
Uh, oh, maybe like a factory. I think I need spice. I think I need change. I don't think I could do the same
Monotone,
thing
nothing routine-ish. Okay, cool, fair enough.
for me.
Are you early or late?
Both
Okay. What's your
early rise, stay up late.
okay?
Love the sunset as much as I love the sunrise. I don't know why. I just
A
do.
pet peeve that you have?
Oh God, I'm trying not to get into past relationships and how I feel about it. Yeah. Pet peeve. I think narcissism. I think if that's if I can have that, just
Yeah, that's an annoying.
working outwards. Like I tend to work outwards for maybe hopefully me and the greater good. I don't understand that sort of selfish mindset.
Beautifully said. What makes you laugh?
Stupidity. Just people
Silly.
making fun of themselves.
Oh, cool. I like it. All right.
Jack walking out of the room and pulling his underwear up and saying, "Do I look like a sumo wrestler?" Just ridiculous.
And have you had fun on our chat today?
I have. Thank you.
I loved
I'm
it.
I'm sweating because I was like, how deep are we going to get personally? But can I just take a second, hi cowboy, to say thank you for doing what you do and what you do and how you contribute to your 2S LGBTQI communities within Canada and abroad is really important work. And you do it you don't do it for accolades, but you do it for the greater advancement, the education, the leading with love, I think what you do is brilliant, and there's nobody else like you. And I personally am super grateful that you exist and do what you do.
Oh my God. You know you know that I hated all of this. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're still recording, so you have to receive it.
I'm so humbled by this. I've told her many times to not do this to me on stages and at events, but I love you back. Yeah, I think there's nothing that I do is special. I think our community is special, and I'm just humbled. And what a joy it has been for 35 years to be part of you people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
that's what keeps me going. So with that, look at all the love on the screen.
I know.
Thank you. Well, that to me, that's community. And Deb and I have said it a number of times when we have the Inspire Awards, or we've been at spaces where we had all those awesome people around us that we love so much, and we're gonna need that dose of those people in this community love. So hopefully that's what we got out of our chat today. And tune in again. Follow us on Facebook, and I love you. Take care of yourselves. All right. Cheers.
Thank you, Antoine. Thank you.